The Homeodynamic Art Group GA was created from interests in the scope of art, design, science, and technology. Currently coordinated by Professor Raquel Zuanon, the group is composed by the artists Professor Zuanon, Bárbara Faria, Cacau Cláudia Martins, Gabriel Romitelli, Geraldo Lima, Lucas Baix, Maiara Araújo, Rafaela Repach, and Rogério Bordini. The group is part of the Das Mind Network, a research group from University of Campinas in Brazil. The artwork Inside Brief belongs to the Inside Project, a larger series of artworks which started in 2020, especially in the pandemic context. This project has images of medical diagnostics as its essence. The interest in diagnostics imagery comes from the diversity of images that these instruments are able to deliver. At each stage of the series, we are dedicated to different instruments that will look at a certain dimension of the human body. Inside Brief is connected with feelings experienced by isolation and claustrophobia, both in literal and metaphorical ways. That's where the idea of the artwork came from, an immersive and interactive audiovisual experience in head-mounted display that responds with empathy and affection to the breathing rhythm of the participant. Through a connection between the interactor's organism and artificial intelligence, the artwork incites reflection on all kinds of impotence experienced by the human being in face of life's iniquities, which lead to physical and/or psychological lack of air, disturbing our body-mind-spirit balance. From this, the work responds in real time to the participant's respiratory rate with effective audiovisual stimuli that translate the presence of alterity and the feeling of empathy. The Homeodynamic Art Group was created in this context, where work fronts were articulated to make this process viable. The axis of the immersive visuality sought to approach the relation of looking at myself and looking at the other, a generous and empathic act that, as a group of homeodynamic art, we don't want to lose sight of. The creative process was based on medical images produced by an ophthalmologic diagnosis instrument with a co-creation along with artificial intelligence, specifically the DALL-E website, in a process called text-to-image. New layers were also created by artificial intelligence from the use of previous diagnoses. This method generated algorithmic amalgamations that were treated in image editing software to compose the immersive, dynamic, and empathic scenario. In this sense, the sound ambience axis was developed seeking to expand the work's immersive potentiality. For this, a musical composition was synchronized with the pre-produced sounds that sought to articulate the visual experience to the auditory stimulus. The hardware is responsive to the breathing movement and is attached to the wearable interface, which gives physical form to what we call the exo-lungs. A laser cutting machine was also used, which, along with fashion design work, ensured the interface ergonomics, comfort, and usability. In order for the experience to be dynamic and responsive, we used a game engine. At the moment of the experience, the interactor first wears the respiratory interface, then the head-mounted display and headphones. The scene gradually shifts as the user's breathing rhythm changes, with the appearance of eye figures on the horizon. Similarly, variations in the sound stimulus are captured by the respiratory movements. In short, the work seeks to articulate the concepts of cognitive and behavioral neurosciences and the neuropsychophysiological monitoring of the human being added to the treatment of medical diagnostic images in co-creation with artificial intelligence.